What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Investing Bros Live Show. We have got a lot to talk about today because guess what? The prices are kind of getting a little boring, going a little downside. We crashed last night. We pumped back up. Now we're kind of somewhere in the middle, but a breakout is coming. It's coming very, very soon, and you do not want to miss it. We're going to be talking about what that looks like, not only for Bitcoin, but for a couple altcoins as well, and we cover the news. We got a lot going on here today. We're going to have some fun, too, because it's Friday. That means the last weekly show. I got some announcements, some things that were coming here, some thoughts we have that Tisha and I have been talking about. So you guys want to stick around for the entire show. If you are new here, thank you so much for choosing us. Every single day we cover the charts, we cover the news, we cover everything you need to know, and we have a lot of fun doing it. So all our subscribers already, go ahead and smash that like button so we got more people in here. And if you are new, go ahead and strap on in. We're going to have some fun today. I am joined by my co-host, Mr. T. Shroom from down there in Gainesville, Florida. T. Shroom, how are you feeling today?
One. People who read the tabloids deserve to be lied to. From Jerry Seinfeld. What do you think about that one?
Yeah, probably. I'm going to tell also an embarrassing story for my good old wife, Taylor. She several times. I don't know. Does it sound good? It's gone.
Oh, my B. That's my bad. Sorry about that,
What have
guys.
you done? What have you done?
Oh, no. I think that whole back and forth might have been muted.
They missed everything? Oh, that was one of our top 10 back and forths we've ever had. And they didn't get to hear a single bit of it. All right, we're going to have to wait. It's back, says Gia. And it's weird because they said it muted, then it came back. What happened? What happened to the sound? What happened? Like the technical difficulty, a classic here on Investing Bros. But what was this technical difficulty?
I think the Factoid elf got in there and muted some of the buttons.
I think they're still saying no sound. Are we sure that we're back? No, Bedridden says back now.
There's definitely sound now. Yeah,
you definitely hear us.
I saw what the Factoid elf did, and I crushed it.
I guess, maybe we'll talk later. We did answer all of life's problems. We pinpointed the exact top of the bull market, and unfortunately, it got muted in the process. So
yeah, that's weird.
It's tragic.
It sucks. Sorry about that, guys.
You have to stick around for the rest of the show and find out more about what's going on. T-Shroom, let's go ahead and jump on in, and let's take a look at coin market cap, and then we'll jump in and do some charts, jump into the stories as well. Overwhelming. Let's refresh the page. I don't know if this is breaking. There we go. All right. Overwhelmingly red today. Bitcoin down almost 1%. Ethereum down more than 1%. We're probably going to have to go take a look at the ETH over Bitcoin chart because we were kind of hovering right there around some key support. Let's see what that's looking like here in just a little bit. BNB is down after BNB was one of the few coins positive yesterday. Let's see. Chat is railing against me. It looks like blame it on Tim, says Bedridden. Thank you for that. Tim was regaling us. I haven't heard that word in a while. Regaling us with a story about his wife when the sound muted. Yes. Yes, I was doing that. Ollie Joint said, "Yo, what's the best cold wallet to get?" Oh, that's got to be Arculus. Got to have Arculus. Anyway, let's get back to what else is happening. Here we go. We're getting into some of the big losers here of our blue chip coin. Solana down 7%. 7%. Solana didn't have a great day today. Neither did Cardano, down 7.55%. And AVAX just having to outdo it, down 7.8%. That is not what you want to see. DOT is down as well. Let's take a look at biggest gainers, biggest losers as a whole. Osmosis is the biggest gainer with a very measly 3.92%. So right now, not a lot of positivity. We just got a super chat, and I don't miss super chats, guys. That's one thing about Investing Bros. Never in the history of it, bros, have we ever missed a single super chat. It's because we're on top of things. It is from Louis B. or Louis B. depending on how your mother pronounced it. She is the one that gets to say how it's actually pronounced. Hey, look at my portfolio. Any suggestions to swap or add 10,000 Cardano coins? All right. 30 Quant, 200 Link, 25 H-Bar, and 9.2 thousand Caspa. I'll probably go out here and say more than likely, I think Caspa needs to be a little higher, honestly.
Yep. That's what I was thinking.
I like probably where your Cardano's at. What's the current price of Quant?
That's a good question.
Let's go look that up. Quant US of D. 119. You have 30 of them. That's not bad. I like that. 200 Link. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Let's see. 200. I might go a little more. You know, this is going to be painful to say, but maybe you need to swap a little Cardano out for some more Link and Caspa. Not financial advice, of course, but I'm looking. It looks like, and I love Cardano. Cardano's one of my favorites, but what I'm looking at portfolio, it looks a little too heavy Cardano comparatively to the other stuff. Now, I would love to have 10,000 Cardano. That's what you want. You want 10,000 Cardano if you can also raise those other things up. So if you have some dry powder and you want to add, and you're saying, hey, where else should I add? You're looking a little weak on your Caspa and Link. But other than that, I like what you got there. I would still continue to suggest this is kind of a default. I would have a little bit of Bitcoin in there. Guys, there is a technical outside situation where Bitcoin could go nuts and be a big, big gainer, and you don't want to miss out. I don't think it's going to be like a 10x, 15x, but there's a chance. I mean, outside chance it happens. Let's see. Was there any other chat? I saw you pop something up. Did you just pop up the super chat so people could read along?
I did.
Okay, good. All right. Well, let's get back here. Thank you for that super chat, Lewis B. Mm-hmm. Let's go back to our market cap open. Again, not a lot of big gainers here. Let's take a look at big losers. Clayton down 20%, Near Protocol down 12%, Aptos down 11%, Beam was one of our gainers yesterday. So people were playing out the wazoo yesterday, gaming away, and today they said it's not time to play games. It's time to get serious, and they sold their Beam. Render down 11%, Optimism down 11%. Say as well had a big week this week, but it's cooling off on some of those gains. Let's go ahead and jump on over into some Q. Not Q. Why am I saying Q? Let's go and do some TNA. And I told Bedridden, one of our members, we talk a lot with Bedridden about trading over in our Discord. We do have an update. I think we're going to hold off on the update about some thoughts T-Shim and I have about our Discord and memberships. Really exciting stuff. All good stuff. But T-Stream and I are going to continue to think on that. We're going to have a meeting next week with our gold members to run it past them, what their thoughts are about that membership update. And we'll then once we talk with gold members, we'll tell you guys. But I told Bedridden, that was a long story to say, I told Bedridden I want to show you guys something today. I was playing around, learning more about the Lux Algo tools. Of course, you guys know Lux Algo is now a partner of the channel, doing phenomenal stuff. And there is something really cool. Just another feature you guys can add if you use it to your trading and investing portfolio to make those gains. But let's take a look at Bitcoin first. Something that you guys need to keep an eye on is we've had some big wicks here more recently, but we're seeing a nice symmetrical triangle come into play. We are going to be seeing a breakout on Bitcoin here very, very soon. Are we going to go to the upside? Are we going to the downside? I am leaning right now towards a upside movement. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that box. Don't need it anyway. And a couple of the reasons why that is. First of all, we came in a symmetrical triangle pattern kind of sideways, but as a whole, more from the upside. So I like the continuation here to continue to move to the upside with this symmetrical breakout, but there's some other reasons as well. You're going to see here Lux Algo Oscillator is now printing a nice little green dot. Let's actually go and maximize this whole thing. There's a couple things here actually that's really bullish. I've been learning a lot more about the Lux Algo tools. There's this nice little trend assistant line. You guys can see this thin green line on the oscillator. When you see the money flow volume, which is what these are, so green is money flowing in, red is money flowing out. The highlight in here is where there's extra buyers if green and sellers if red. So it's kind of like an extra boost. When it's just normal green, that's still bullish, but it gets extra bullish when we get the extra buyers coming in here. Then you start to mix in some of these bullish dots that we have not only on the momentum, so we have a green momentum dot and a nice reversal and green dot down here. we're moving to the upside and we're above this little green line. Every time that our money flow gets above that line, that is super bullish in that timeline. And so we have been rallying up. Let's go back to the price action here. We have been rallying up during this time period, but it's time for that to get even more explosive. So when we're coming to a decision, do we go up? Do we go down? You start to look at what's my confluence say? Well, we got our MACD sitting right there at the middle point, and in reality, curving back to the upside. We have the RSI sitting here giving us some nice there's not quite, there is some divergence kind of popping up in here. It's kind of weak divergence, but we have flat bottoms right here on these 2 points, right? So let's look right here. Go ahead and draw some line here. Both of these bouncing right off of about 38 on the RSI, and yet the bottoms of those same levels are rising to the upside. Now, that's not the strongest divergence in the world. That's not the same divergence I'm going to show you guys over on Cardano. Cardano's got some really nice, strong bullish divergence popping up. But all the bullishness on the Lux Algo Oscillator, all the bullishness we see on the MACD and the RSI, and then it gets even better. I want to show you something pretty cool. If you go into Lux Algo, if you have it and you have the price action concepts, first of all, order blocks, big thing. Love order blocks. But there's also something else. Let's take down these oscillators and let's take a look. I was actually exploring and playing around with this today. And it's not perfect. There's no such thing as 100%, but it's another indicator to add to know if, like, hey, if I'm looking at other things saying bullish, this is going to really help me. If I see other things saying bearish, this is really going to help me. We're going to start here on the hourly chart, but you can see here we have our premium, equilibrium, and discount zones. But we also see a high level and a weak level. So I'm not quite sure how many, I think it might go back like 50 candles, and it tracks what's your high, or maybe it's 100 candles. What's your high within the last 100 candles? What's your low? And then it tells you which side is weak or strong. Right now, under the hourly, the lowest we have been is down here at 40,600. The highest we've been in the range on the hourly chart has been all the way up here at 45,900, right? But now we look at the high and low. Weak high, 6%, strong low, 94%. What does that mean? That means that we have a lot stronger of a support within this range than we do within the high. The other thing is, after coming down here and hitting our discount zone, we have popped back up over our equilibrium and now have been using it as support, looking super bullish. Let's go down even further down towards the 15-minute chart to see even more. Within the 15-minute chart, our strong low, 84%, coming in down here at 92. Our weak high coming up here at 16. What does that mean? If you were going to try to predict which one of these levels was the first to break, it's probably going to be the weak one. It's going to be the one with 16%, that weak high up here at 44,800. So as we're looking at this symmetrical triangle, as we're looking at everything popping up, we're seeing the oscillator say bullish. We're seeing the formation say bullish. We're seeing the premium discount zones say bullish. We got a much stronger base than we do ceiling at the moment. Then you come over here, and of course, you guys know I love me some liquidations. Let's refresh this, just kind of take a new look up, and look at that. I got to refresh the entire page. And I don't have to sign in today, even though I can fix that a lot sooner than I used to. Let's go back to 12 hours here. I might take a look at the 7-day as well, but let's just start here with the 12 hours. You will see that we did come down here and fill out some liquidity back here, but now we got a lot of the yellow sticking up here above us. Is there some down below us? Yeah, there is, but none of this is very yellow. We took out some yellow back here. We've created some new yellow above us, all the way up here at 44,450, and I do remember straight, going back to that 15-minute chart, that is right there around that area towards our premium zone. So that's the first level to get up there, and then watch potentially for us to break through that as well. Moving out to the 7-day here with liquidations, you're also going to see an overwhelming case to say that we have more liquidations above us than we do below us. All of the yellow coming up here, even as high as $47,000. Again, we're at a decision point. We had to decide to go one way or the other. The charts are saying bullish. The liquidation's saying bullish. But you know what's even more bullish? I don't know if we're going to cover the news. I'm going to go ahead and spoil it for you right now. Did you guys know that Tether today has printed in the last 24 hours, $2 billion worth of new tokens? And I talked about this earlier today. I got to co-host on Discover Crypto. We talked really heavily about the charts. You guys want to know the last 2 dates? The last 2 times we started an explosive movement in added market cap to Tether. It was back October 16th and March 10th of 2023. Those are the 2 times this year we've seen explosive additions to the market cap of Tether. Well, T-Shroom, if they watched me on Discover Crypto, they're going to already know this. They're going to know what's happening here. But for those who maybe did not see the show this morning, I want to show you guys what we're looking at here for Bitcoin. So remember those dates. What was the first one I said? October 16th. Well, what has Bitcoin price done since October 16th? Oh, it's just done a measly little 73% move to the upside.
Measly.
Now, some of you guys are going to say, well, Tim, there's a lot of ETF hype going on during this time period. So is it really Tether printing more money, or is it the ETF hype? Could be a combination of both, but fair enough. Let's go back to the other date I told you guys, March 10th. Well, what happened on March 10th? Bitcoin, after having a nice little pullback in price action and people freaking out, went on to pump a measly, new word of the day, measly, 58% over the next couple of days. Weeks. We'll call it weeks. Give it 2 weeks. What is my point here? Historically, I'm just showing you 2023. Go back in your own, go back on the Tether chart, go to market cap and look for the surges in market cap, then correspond those to the dates of Bitcoin price. Historically, when Tether prints more coins, this is money that is going to be flowing into crypto, into Bitcoin. Now I'm going to stop here and say, am I projecting or predicting another 58 to 70% pump within the next couple of weeks? No, I'm going to be honest. That's a little much for me right now. Let's just pretend, though. Let's say that did happen. 58% for Bitcoin would put us up to, I got to scroll up because I wasn't even high enough. 58% would put us up to about 68. So, okay, 58% would get us back to all-time high. We would match our all-time high. 73% would put us all the way up here at $75,000. Interesting enough, those are actually two very key levels, I believe, that have been talked about. There's going to be a lot of psychological resistance at those levels. But to me, for right now, that is a little too much. However, could we see definitely another 20 something percent, 20, 30%? I do think so. I do think we could see 20% up here to almost $53,000, around $53,000. Of course, you've mentioned it before, but that would fall right in here to our nice little gap in the fixed range volume profile up here in that platinum pocket. It's a level we talked about before, but we're seeing more and more things kind of come into confluence, talking about the surge to those levels. And then you mix it with the fact that we more than likely are days away. T-Shroom is days away from getting himself a nice stake. We're probably days away from seeing an ETF be approved. I do have some updated thoughts there. Not that I'm going to try to argue and take back what I said. I said what I said. I didn't think we were going to get approved by the 10th. It's not officially approved yet, so there's always time. But I am leaning in a direction of saying I think we're going to be approved. But a nice interview we had today over on Discover Crypto kind of helped enlighten me as to some things that Gary Gensler has in his back pocket to continue to delay the process, even with an approval. And no, it's not the joke we had yesterday. I know Dave Digital was in here yesterday joking that Gary's going to appeal his own approval, which would be hilarious. He doesn't have to appeal his approval. This man has the legal power to approve it and then continue to delay the actual launch of the ETF. What does that mean? I'm going to take a break for now. We're going to kind of pause, get into our factoid of the day, do some news, and I'm sure during the news section, this conversation will pop back up. And I'll tell you guys why I'm bullish on an approval, but we still might be months away from anyone trading on the ETFs. With that said, though, before we get in there, make sure you guys go ahead and smash that like button. And if you enjoyed the TA, again, check out Lux Algo down below. Amazing tool. I went and even back tested some of the stuff I'm showing you. Again, nothing's 100%, but trading isn't 100%. This stuff is super lethal, and you combine it with your actual technical analysis and trading skills yourself. You match it with your sentiment. This is just going to up your predictions, up your percentages of wins in trading, and that's what the game's all about. Go get Lux Algo today, support the channel, and get something that helps you make more money in trading. T-Shroom, it is time to get into our factoid of the day.
Absolutely.
I've been fooled a lot recently. The elf has been going deep in the bag of trivia into categories that I have no knowledge of whatsoever. I'm very interested to see what he goes with today. What do you got for us?
All right, let's see what's going on here. What U.S. state stands alone in the Union as a uniquely unicameral legislature? Is it A, Nebraska, B, California, C, Delaware, or D, Ohio?
You could have just said what is a uniquely unicameral legislature. I don't know what that is. Uni meaning singular,
like
cameral,
Uniswap, right?
Yeah. Cameral. what would cameral mean?
Let me actually, I'll help you define some of these terms here because if you don't know what that word,
I got unique and legislature. It's the unicameral that I have
for sure,
zero knowledge
so
what that means.
every state in the union has a bicameral legislature, meaning they have a Senate and a Congress. The federal Congress is split into the Senate and the Congress for representational reasons, except for this state. This state uniquely has a unicameral legislature, meaning they only have a Senate, which is super weird.
Can I ask another question? Is there a story that the elf does a pretty good job of picking ones that have something to do with a story? Is this going to come up in a story, or is this just literally pulled out of the blue for our own entertainment to see Tim look like an idiot?
Well, let's just say the elf knew that T Shroom had visited this state, and
I know you've also visited a lot of places.
I've been to all of these states except Delaware. So,
I mean, I have no idea, honestly. I know Florida has 2, and I'm assuming 3 of these do, and only one of them. This is the only one. This is the only state that has a unicameral legislature,
and that's why it's an interesting factoid of the day.
All right, so my plan has worked perfectly, T-Shroom. I don't know if you knew about this, but I've never been told
I knew
about
this.
When you delay and you get to read chat, you get that automatic free phone.
You are so dastardly, Tim.
You get to poll the audience. And the poll the audience has come out saying A, Nebraska should be my answer. And for that reason, I'm going with A. And I hope my plan has worked.
He's phoned a friend. It's a Investing Bros first. Tom Crown, if you're still watching, usually we don't see such tomfoolery here on the Investing Bros, but Tom has come around and the mischief fairy has sprinkled its mischief dust all over the show. So here we are.
Okay, good.
All right, let's go ahead and get into some news. We'll come back and find out what the truth behind this factoid is. But let's go ahead and jump into the biggest and most important webpage in all of crypto, which is the SEC.gov website. And indeed, while there was a new entry to the website today, it had nothing to do with the spot Bitcoin ETF. They simply appointed Stacey Bowers as a small business advocate. That was today, but who cares? I think I speak for the crypto community when I say, who cares? All right, let's move on here. We're going to keep going because Cardano is surging 245% ahead of Ethereum in the development race. Give it up for Ethereum. We get these charts every once in a while. We've got this one here. It just kind of shows that ADA is far and away the most developed, month by month. When was the last time you saw anyone other than Cardano be the leader of this chart?
Yeah, it's not very common. Dot definitely in the olden days definitely had a lot of development. When I'm talking about olden days, I'm talking about years ago. But it's definitely been at least a year and a half that I can remember. And you're true. I don't remember if I've seen it. I know for the last year and a half, I have not seen one more developed than Cardano.
Right.
Which, to be fair, I love Cardano, guys. And so don't take what I'm about to say as a negative thing. This doesn't mean that much to be T-Shirt because Cardano has been the most developed project now for over a year and a half. And yet, here's what I'll say, guys. Don't hate me for this. I still think Cardano has a ways to go to prove how valuable it'll be in the future. I think they're doing it the right way. I think they're doing it slow, methodical, and they're going to get there. But you can't argue that Cardano does not do as much as some of these other layer ones. And that's just a fair argument, right? Still love them, believe in them. But this doesn't mean that much to me because they've been in the lead for a long time. Hopefully, all of this being number one in development bears fruit, and out of nowhere, it just explodes to being the most utilized blockchain. I would love to see it, but that's not what it is at the moment.
That's correct. My take on it is, we got to see, the rubber's got to hit the road. Just because you make a really good ballpark doesn't mean that they're going to come watch your sporting event, right? You got to do the marketing. You've got to get out there and rattle the fences and get people excited about it. Now, what I'll say is that I don't know of another crypto community, maybe Ethereum, but I don't know of another crypto community that is as vibrant and teeming with activity as much as Cardano is, right? Solana is definitely up there as well, but I would still say that, the CNFT community is very, very vibrant, active, lots of stuff moving around there.
I'll also tell you this. If you are in crypto for the decentralization, how can you not be a supporter of Cardano? It's one of the last true decentralized cryptos out there. while almost all crypto is more decentralized than current finances, that doesn't take a lot. I also can jump a lot higher than Stephen Hawkins. It doesn't mean I need to go play basketball in the NBA. It just means that I can jump higher than Stephen Hawkins. And I'm not saying he can't jump high because he's in a wheelchair. I'm saying it because he's dead.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's not just Tom Crown that's in the chat that's getting everybody excited. Also, Susan Shrum, my mom, said good analogy, Tay. So
good analogy, Tay.
And you know who taught me to make good analogies?
Your mom.
My mom. My mom. There's also Swashbuckling made a good observation about this chart here, which is that Adam and Osmo, Swashbuckling was saying, isn't Osmo on the Cosmos network? So I don't know. That's an interesting one. I guess Sentiment is the aggregator here for this type of information, so you can take it up with them. Maybe at them on Twitter and ask that very question. You might get an interesting response. All right, let's keep moving, though. We got some more stories here. This one's really interesting, Tim. Van Eyck to donate 5% of the Bitcoin ETF profits to core Bitcoin developers. That is just a fascinating development, and it kind of goes to show for me that this is the way that Wall Street is going to actually kind of pivot and try to appeal to the crypto community. This is their mentality. This is their creativity coming into play. I believe one of the other issuers, I can't remember who it was, but I think that they were giving no fees. I think it was the Galaxy Digital one. They're giving no fees for the first 3 months. So folks are going to be able to get in and buy those ETFs with no fees. And by folks, I mean, probably your 401k or, the pension fund, whatever it is that wants to buy in the first few months. It kind of gives it's kind of smart because it gives an incentive to, these slow kind of lumbering conservative giant, bags of money, gives them an incentive to act quickly rather than to wait and kind of see how the market reacts. It's like, hey, well, you can do this and you'd save, $20,000 in fees if you're putting up, $20 billion into this ETF. So this is just another way to kind of shuck and jive and differentiate yourself from the market. This is what Van Eyck is doing, and they're definitely no stranger to issuing ETFs and trying to be competitive. But Tim, I throw it to you: is this compelling at all? If you're advising your dad, let's say, or an uncle or somebody who's only wants to get exposure to Bitcoin through ETFs, is this compelling, or is no fees more compelling?
It's compelling in a sense of, is Van Eyck trying to make a play to partner with / get the early investing into some of the infrastructure development on Bitcoin. Of course, that's a hotly debated topic even right there. Should there be development on Bitcoin? Should we have ordinals? And should we have there's still people on both sides of the fence. But if I'm reading this, again, I'm just kind of coming out of nowhere. Maybe that people disagree with me, but to me, is this Van Eyck is not going to do anything that doesn't benefit them. They're not just being good-hearted people who want to help developers. They're scratching backs so that hopefully someday those developers will scratch their backs as well.
So that was my first thought too, but the reality is that my understanding is that the core developers, they can write a bunch of code, right? But then all of the nodes, all the essentially miners that are running nodes, they have to then vote that new code into the blockchain or the protocol, right? And that's how that works. So donating money to the developers, I'm pretty sure anybody can be a developer. You can propose an amendment to the code, right? So anybody can do that. You just have to have a big enough voice to be able to say, hey, vote for this code. Anyway, so it's an interesting thought. Van Eyck said,
I don't see it being something that they're not trying to gain something from it.
Right. If Wall Street knows anything, it's that money talks, and they're definitely keeping in that trend here. They said, we're not Bitcoin tourists at Van Eyck, Tim. They're not just tourists, okay? We're in it for the long haul. Van Eyck posted in an X post on Friday, Brink's tireless dedication to decentralization and innovation is the cornerstone of the Bitcoin ecosystem, and we're here to support it. So I think they're getting the sentiment right here. It's pretty interesting. Oh, and they said that the move is reminiscent of a similar pledge by Van Eyck to donate 10% of the profits from its Ether futures ETF to Ethereum developers in October last year. So they've done this before, and they must have had a positive response because now they're doing it yet again. We've got one more story here, Tim. Ultimately, I think this is kind of brilliant. This is kind of a brilliant move. The big question is what's the granddaddy of them all? What is the BlackRock incentive going to be? Why is that different? Do you get a free handshake with Larry Fink himself? What is it? What's that incentive? I'm excited to see. Maybe there'll be none. It's just the name. You get to bank with us. You get to buy your Bitcoin through BlackRock. All right, moving along here, we got a final story. This one's actually pretty interesting as well. Ethereum validators forced to wait days to unstake amid Celsius withdrawals. Let's get to the details here. Celsius, the crypto lender that filed for bankruptcy in 2022, is now in the process of restructuring, and it seems to be responsible for present delays in the validator queue. This is an odd niche of the Ethereum protocol that you probably don't think about very much if you're not especially if you're not a validator. Celsius shared on Thursday on X, formerly Twitter, that the significant unstaking activity in the next few days will unlock ETH to ensure timely distributions to creditors. But in the meantime, things are not going well. According to blockchain analytics firm Nansen, 32% of all ETH waiting to be withdrawn has been requested by Celsius, while another 54% is from Figment, a staking service that Celsius reportedly uses. So there's a lot of validators that are about to be going offline, is kind of what I'm reading here. That may not be an accurate kind of depiction of what this is, but that's kind of what it's reading to me. Ethereum has previously seen longer lines. In April, Ethereum validators had to wait upwards of 17 days to get their staked ETH back following the blockchain Shapella upgrade, which enabled staked ETH withdrawals for the first time. At the time, some 28,000 validators were in line to leave the network at one point. So we're seeing some congestion in the Ethereum ecosystem, especially over there in the validators side of the world. Tim, does this worry you at all as an ETH investor? Is this something that concerns you at all?
No. I mean, worst things have happened to Ethereum and it's still here with us, and they're about to get some really good news with this newest update. I forget the name of the update. We'll obviously be talking about it a lot more as we get closer to it. We're now in quarter one. I think it's expected to happen sometime February or March, and we'll talk about that a lot more. Watch out for Ethereum, guys. Ethereum could be one that pops off. Very, very much so. But we did get a super chat, and we don't miss super chats, T-Stream. Never.
I know I don't.
Never once. Ryan Schutz, $2. Thank you so much, Ryan. Says, when you think the market tops in 4-year cycle done? Okay. Ryan, thank you so much. I think you're asking, when do you think the 4-year cycles tops are done? So, like, when do you think that we'll stop topping out every 4 years and having pullbacks? In which case, I'll answer it both ways, the way it can be interpreted. The answer to that question is, I think, a while. Remember, the 4-year cycle it's not necessarily to do with the economy, even though there's been a little bit of a correlation there. The 4-year cycle has a lot more to do with the halving events that happen roughly every 4 years. Halving is still happening every 4 years. We're having a halving cycle here in 2024. We'll have another halving in 2028. We'll have another halving in 2032. We'll have another halving in 2036, and so on and so forth out. Now, I do believe the significant volatility will begin to diminish. And what I mean by that is Bitcoin usually from top to the next top is tripling in price or more, but you're seeing massive gains because if you sell the top of a bull market and then you ride a nice 90, this last time was like 78% pullback, and then you go to the new high, you can make a lot of money. I do think we'll get to a point, especially after this one, where maybe we get a 50% pullback in this next bear market. The one after that, maybe we get like a 40 to 30%. I do think the bear markets will get less significant, and for that reason, we will continue to set new highs in the bull market. It will just be less gains. I think there'll become a certain point where it's like, hey, yeah, I doubled my Bitcoin in this bull market. That was great. So that's the answer to that one. If you're asking when do you think we will top in a 4-year cycle, the next 4-year cycle top should be sometime around September, October of 2025. You asked one question, but I answered two. That's what you get here at Investing Bros. We go above and beyond. That's why you should be smashing the like button. By the way, we got 125 people in here. What are our likes at, T-Shroom? What's our likes sitting like today? My
26.
thing has not updated. What?
26. That can't be right.
Mine says 56. 56.
56 is what I see, yes.
Let's get the likes to 100, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys are enjoying the show. Now, before we exit out of here, we get the answer to our question of the day, and then we go back into some charts. I want to show you guys some Cardano. We love Cardano. We already talked about Cardano here. And we can look at any other coins you guys want to see, within reason. Go ahead and in a little bit, give us 5 minutes and then start posting coins that you want to see some TA on. Now, going back to something I was talking about earlier, the ETF, everyone wants to talk about ETFs. The ETFs, everything about it. We are probably going to see an approval. In the interview I had today over on Discover Crypto with James Seyffart, not Safe Fart. All of you, I know there's people like Tom Crown out there thinking Safe Fart. That's not his name. It's Seyffart. I'm sure he was teased a lot in high school and middle school. Probably definitely elementary school. Anyway, very, very smart person. And he actually teased him. I'm not going to lie to you. He made me reconsider some things about my future planning with crypto.
Interesting.
I haven't decided 100%. I'm in decision mode right now, right? Because as smart as James is not going to pretend like he knows everything. James can get things wrong too. But we were talking today, and I asked him a question about the approval process, right? Because again, it is looking extremely likely that we will see an approval by the 10th. That's next Wednesday, for anyone who's wondering. But there's 2 steps, T-shirt. You remember how I said, like, it's just Gary Gensler. Like, Gary Gensler is going to make everything take the longest it possibly can. And we knew that there was going to be a delay. I asked him about, like, hey, once there's an approval, isn't there about a month-long process before people actually trade it? He said, no. The truth is, we could see an approval on Wednesday, and people could be trading it by Monday the following week. Because what it is, and I'm not as smart as James, so I'm not going to get all the technical jargon correct, but pretty much, more than likely, sometime between Monday and Wednesday next week, he will sign something saying, yes, we will be having Bitcoin spot ETFs. They're coming. But there's another level that he has to sign off before a single person can actually trade this. And that could take a couple of days, or it could take a month, or it could take 3 months. Wow. That is now a question. I don't think the question is, will we get an approval ETF? That's the question we've been asking for a long time now. Guys, we're going to get the ETF approved. Go ahead and lock it up, put it in your pocketbook. The question is, when will people be able to trade these ETFs? Gary still holds that control. So while I'm still holding out, you never know. It's still Gary Gensler.
It is.
I feel pretty good, T-Shroom, about giving you $35 gift card to Longhorn Steakhouse, because we, of course, had to bet about the approval. We didn't bet about what date people will be trading the ETF. Correct. I do think you're going to be right. I do think that we are days away from approval, but we might still be months, plural, away from anyone actually being able to purchase these ETFs.
We'll hold the boat. Look at this comment here from Gustavo. He said, I think the approval is today at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard, when the markets are closed, not able to trade in a month. Interesting.
I don't think we're going to see an approval after hours, Gustavo.
Well, I tend to agree. I think that the chances are low, but I do think that there's a possibility, and that's why I've been refreshing, SEC.gov, their press release website, just in case. I'm one of the first to see it go live, and then I can take that screenshot, post it up, and I'll be posting it up to my Twitter at @tshroom. You can see it just above my beautifully bald head. Tim, are you ready for the answer to the factoid today?
No, I'm
okay.
not, because there's another question that I just got asked on the same topic, and we're going to stay on the same topic.
Okay.
So I love Gustavo's question right there. Detox PSD says, how low does the first correction go after ETF announcement? So remember I said, the conversation we had with James made me start to question some things. And he's not allowed to talk about price action, right? So I asked him a question about price action. I worded it like this. I said, historically, we have at least 40% pullbacks in pre-halving bull cycles. What do you think? Do you think that's going to happen? Do you think price is just going to shoot up to the upside, or do you think it's going to go down? He said, I cannot talk about price action. I can't remember exactly how he worded it, but he pretty much implied that he believed that we did not need to see a significant pullback in price. And here's the reason why. So, of course, the big news today, which is big news, is not a big impact on price necessarily, is that BlackRock is putting in $10 million of seed funding today. That's not a significant improvement to the price. It's good news. It's a further confirmation about their serious nature into an ETF. But what's even more so a big deal is they're putting 10 million in right now. And James said that more often than not, when you have these processes, and again, he's an ETF professional, he knows this stuff. He said they'll put this initial kind of like nothing burger money, like 10 million is nothing. They're going to put that initial seed funding in. And then once they get the approval, he's seen times where they've literally come back with billions of dollars coming in for the second round. And I'm telling you right now, I asked him also, and he could answer this. I said, do you believe that they care about the price action? Do you like, because we've been kind of operating this thought, like, of course, BlackRock's going to want to see the price come back down to purchase this. They do not care. Like, there's a chance. I still believe we're going to see a pullback. I still think that 31,000 is going to happen. But technically speaking, my thought that it's going to be something BlackRock wants to see, James seems to disagree with that thought. And I'm going to give it to James that James knows a lot more about how these ETF processes work. He knows a lot more about what's happening in the brains of these people like Larry Fink and Jamie Dimon and all the other big players that are involved in this process. He seems to believe that they do not care about the price action. They just want to get in, be exposed, and start offering this to their clients, which makes me believe, again, it doesn't discredit that rule that we've always seen 40% pullbacks, and it doesn't discredit the fact that we blasted through 31,800, never tested it as support, and that's a big no-no in the markets. It just doesn't happen very often. But it does kill one of my main rationales for that big pullback, in that BlackRock's interest is to dip the price so they can buy cheaper levels. According to James, that's not within their thoughts whatsoever. There is an outside chance that the hype of the ETF approval shoots prices up above $53,000, and then we actually get the big money rolling in from these institutions, and the race is off, and we never retest those levels. So what is my point here? I'm not trying to tell anyone what to do with money, because here's the thing. Like, if I knew for certain right now that we will not retest lower levels, I, of course, am putting every penny of my dry powder into the markets today, right now, right? If I knew for a fact that we're going to go back down, I'd sell everything and I'd wait for lower prices. We don't know what's going to happen. What does that mean we should do? That means you should continue to stick to your plan of my HODL portfolio. I don't care if the price of Bitcoin goes to 70,000 next week or 10,000 next week. I'm not touching it. It is what it is. I'm saving that bad boy for September or October of 2025, or even further out into the future. It means, hey, any dry powder you have, maybe you start to put a little bit in right now and you watch the price action, and you maybe make a more aggressive DCA strategy. And in the off chance we do have that big pullback down to 31, you try to scrounge some stuff together. But I would not be making any type of risky scenario. Like, this is what I really fear a lot of people are going to try to do, T-Shirt. I think a lot of people are going to think, oh, $50,000, perfect. Let me take some massive profit, and I'm going to wait for that pullback to 31,000. And there's a chance that that pullback never comes. So please continue to invest wisely to access your risk management, and understand it is better to be in at these levels and ride this price up to $200,000 than to think that you can sell and wait for a drop back to 30,000 and then absolutely not get in. And by the time you finally say, all right, screw it, I missed the boat, you're buying $80,000, $90,000 Bitcoin. That's not good. That's not what you should be doing.
Yeah.
Be a little more conservative with your risk management, T-Shirt. But anyway, so that's what I have to say, guys. I'll keep you guys posted on what I'm looking, seeing on the charts. I have not officially, I'm not saying I don't think we're going to see 31,000. I'm just saying I'm less confident than I was this morning. I'll put it that way.
Yep. Well, guys, also realize that, so today was a pretty big day, because we were kind of entering the zone of where it's highly likely that the SEC would issue a decision, right? But let me also remind you all that we learned in this flurry of information that came out around Goldman Sachs trying to be a registered whatever it's called, I can't remember, but basically underwrite the ETF. We learned that that the decision from the regulator will likely come between January 8th and January 10th. So January 8th is important because that we don't talk about it enough on this show. That's the grayscale deadline for it to be flipped into a spot ETF, because right now it's a trust, which is similar, but it's not completely the same, and flipping into a spot ETF would be favorable. Now, I told the good folks in our Discord that I sold my GBTC, which is the Grayscale Trust, just because A, Kathy Wood did it, right? And B, the reason that she did it is because it's just one little risk that, I would rather not have. Now, I sold into cash, and I put about half of that cash into BitX, which is a double leverage Bitcoin futures ETF, which, I wouldn't necessarily recommend that if you're, closer to retirement age. It's pretty risky, but I'm not, so I did. The other thing I wanted to say was Gustavo shouted out this tweet here, which was tweeted out about 20 minutes ago from Bitcoin Magazine. Justin, sources tell Van Eyck Matthews Siegel that BlackRock has more than $2 billion lined up in week one in new incremental inflows from existing Bitcoin holders who are adding to positions. Looking eyes emoji. So if you weren't bullish already, now you have every reason to be, right? Now, I keep getting these like moments. I'll be listening to a stream or listening to you on Discover Crypto or whatever it is, and I'll just get these moments like, or I'm envisioning myself, I need to do a 75 leverage long on Bitcoin the night before January. And I'm like, no, I can't keep having that thought.
No.
Because I just might do it. But no. I do want to put out a video sometime of like how you can trade it with, good risk management around a trade for the big decision, but we'll see. All right, you ready to get the answer to the factoid? I think we've had enough fun here. We ready?
Let's do it. Let's do it. What did I get? Did my tactic work?
Now, the answer to this factoid is actually brought to you by Lux Algo. It's the
Lux of Algo, yes.
Lux of Algo, and they're a great group of indicators over there. You're gonna love them. But it's right here for you folks. The answer is Nebraska.
We have the best audience in the world.
They
did not lead me astray.
Here's a good, beautiful shot of the Nebraska legislature, of which there is no Congress. There is only a Senate. Unicameralism. You thought the word couldn't get any bigger. Unicameralism, and there's no B, but I keep saying B. I'm sorry.
It's fun to say.
In the United States, the Nebraska legislature, also called the unicameral, so they just go ahead and they're very public with it, is a supreme legislative body of the state of Nebraska and the only unicameral state legislature in the United States. The members are called senators, and it was originally the upper house of a bicameral legislature before the Nebraska House of Representatives dissolved in 1937. And now I'm going to deliver a 15-minute monologue on how that process took place. Just kidding.
Yeah.
So anyway, that was the answer to our factoid of the day. If you live in Nebraska, let us know in the chat. Let us know in the comments. And thank you for playing.
Yeah, put a 1 in chat if you knew that Nebraska wasn't anything, was more than just cornfields. I honestly thought their government was just like they just carved out a little circle in the cornfield.
I was out there 3 years ago, and Lincoln, Nebraska was really, really beautiful. Omaha, very beautiful. It is very flat, and there is a lot of cornfields. That's verified by me. But Lincoln especially, it's a very nice small town. If you're looking for kind of a rural setting that has some, skyscrapers, not skyscrapers, but just kind of like almost like a university town. It is a university town. That's where Nebraska is. It's a great city. I would live there.
Says they have water towers there too.
Yeah.
So,
and the important part is they do have triple fiber internet. So it's extremely low cost of living. Why live in New York? Why live in LA when you could live in a unicameral system of Nebraska?
I don't know why. Let's go in here, guys. It is time to go and spam chat with coins you want to see some TA on. But while I'm waiting for your desired picks, let's talk about Cardano here. Got to show you some bullish stuff here on Cardano T-shirt. Go ahead and share my screen. Let's take a look at the oscillators first, because the oscillators are screaming at us. Bullish divergence, ladies and gentlemen. If you look at the price action, yes, we wicked down last night to about 52 cents. But the candle body closes came all the way up at 54.69. Well, today we have closed these hourly candles all the way down at 52.60. And that, of course, when you look at the RSI and the bottoms have moved to the upside, and you take a look at the MACD and the bottoms of the MACD have moved to the upside. And the reason why we lose the bottom is because we have some white candles in there, meaning the bulls have been buying and changing that up. And then you take a look at our Lux Algo Oscillator here, just screaming a plethora of things at us. Let's take a look at a couple of them. I know it's at the bottom, so let's move this up and make a look at the top. We've got ourselves a nice green reversal triangle. We've got ourselves a nice green reversal momentum ball kind of coming in here. Yes, our money flow is still in the red, but we're starting to curve back to the upside, although it looks like it looks kind of moving sideways here. So it's actually kind of disagreeing with us, guys. It's disagreeing with us just a little bit there. But lower time frames are definitely starting to curve back to the upside, even with our money flow. This is the 30-minute. You guys can see we have come out of the extreme move to downside position, and money is starting to flow back in. Buyers are starting to flow back in. But that's not the only reason to be bullish on Cardano. It also has to do with the indicators we were talking about earlier. Let's take a look at what Lux Algo is telling us. We are sitting on a discount zone here on the hourly chart with a strong low of 95%. So in confluence with those indicators, in confluence with the bullish divergence and everything else is telling us, and the fact that all of our hourly order blocks are sitting up above us, and we have a strong low of 95% with a weak high all the way up here at 63 with only 5%. This looks primed and ready for Cardano to explode to the upside. Moving to our liquidations just to kind of take a look here and confirm what's going on here. Let's take a look at the 12 hours first. Now, this morning, it did just keep printing new ones. So you do want to stay up to date on this. So look at this, guys, here on the 12 hour. We're coming down here this morning. The deep yellow was only sitting right here at about 53 cents, right? So 53 cents looked like a good buy. But then we cleared that, and all of a sudden, this new yellow popped up here at 52.4. So we come down and we cleared that. Right now, it's not bright yellow, but there technically is some, if for some crazy reason. I don't think we're going to. But if we dropped 2.52 cents, that's because we want to clear out this liquidations. But look at where everything is exciting. Look at where everyone wants to go. The traders are going to see way more money to be made for a push to the upside with a push over 55 cents, pushing closer to 56 cents. You come out here to the 7-day, and that excitement runs even higher with more liquidations coming possibly up above 65, back towards 70. If you want to make money and you're a trader in Cardano, there's just not a whole lot of room to the downside left. It seems like all of that room is momentum to the upside. Now, of course, again, I told you guys 70 cents. I want to continue to watch Cardano. I would love to see a dollar Cardano. When you zoom out here, I believe even Coin Bureau put out a video. They don't talk about Cardano that often, but they talked about this potential bull flag happening. You guys know we've mentioned it here on Investing Bros. I'm not as optimistic about this happening, except for the fact maybe this is a sign that maybe we don't go down in Cardano again. That could be interesting. This would give us a prediction up here at about 95 cents, but I'm much more comfortable at this moment in just talking about potentially this channel that we're in, making a breakout of this channel, making a break to the upside, and making a move up here to our 0.5 level, up around 81 cents. This even has some validity with, again, not just Fibonacci, but of course, our fixed range volume profile here as well. Right up here in the 80 cent zone. Let's see, where are we? Yeah, we got a nice little peak in volume right there. It does get interesting around 70 to 75 cents. So that's why I've kind of said 70 to 80 cents is my zone. I'm looking for. I'll probably take a little bit of profit as we cross 70. Probably, I guess my first level probably going to be somewhere there around 73, 74 when we run back into this former support level. But I'm going to save a little bit. I'm going to save a little bit, definitely to maybe right up there to 80 cents. And of course, I want to pause myself right here and make sure I'm explaining myself perfectly. I am not talking about my HODL portfolio, ladies and gentlemen. I am talking about my trade, the longs that I just entered late last night around, I think I purchased in around 54 cents because, of course, that's the levels we talked about. But yeah, that's what I'm talking about. The longs that I've just entered, I'm looking for take profit in the range between 73 to 80 cents. That is what we're talking about for Cardano. You know what we forgot to say, talk about today, T-Shroom?
What's that, Tim?
And I told you guys, we are going to tell you when we get things wrong. We're very humble. We're very honest here. But we also have to tell you guys when we get things right. And if you guys were watching our show yesterday, ooh, look at this, Bitcoin up over 44, guys. Are we breaking out of our little angle right here? Oh, yeah, we're breaking out. We're breaking out to the upside. So, bada boom, right there. That's what you love to see. Do you guys remember the show yesterday when we talked about the price was up here? The price was coming back up to resistance, and we said, look out, guys, because we could see a sell-off. The bulls could get trapped out. look out for a pullback to 42,450. Is that zoomed in enough, T-Shroom?
Yes, I like the zooming noises there.
Yeah, it's part of the dramatic effect. Look where that wick went.
Wow. That's kind of crazy.
Almost down to the exact dollar of Bitcoin. Pretty crazy. So, if you're watching the show, you probably were going to do what I did. Guys, this is the really sad part. I told you, I'm going to tell you when we do something right. I'm also going to tell you when we do something wrong. Guess who did not put their market order in at 42,450 after saying we could be seeing a price action of 42,450? I, like a sucker, bought up here on our dip, probably somewhere around 43,300. So, I'm in profit on my long, but not as much as I could have been if I had just freaking listened to myself. But enough of my problems in life. Let's take a look. What do you guys want to look at? I do see a mellow fellow saying, let's take a look at Link. I love Link. We haven't taken a good look at Link in a minute anyway, so we're going to start off here. Now, we did drop below some support right here, although I could stretch this out. It's still going to drop below it. You always want to touch up these lines just to make sure you have everything accurate. We still have dropped down below. Now, we're flirting with this level. What I'm interested to see here, is there anything else? You definitely see a little bit of a falling level of resistance I want to keep my eyes on, but we're nowhere close to it as far as resistance levels go. You're also going to see we have a little bit of a flat level right in here. A lot of support coming in here. Fixed range volume. Let's see what fixed range volume is saying in here. Yeah, we're kind of hovering right there at value area low. So room to the upside for sure. Let's take a look here at our oscillators. We are seeing similar to like what we saw with Cardano and Bitcoin, getting some good things popping up here. Money flow was up, but it's kind of coming back down. So you don't love that. But we did get some bullish divergence here. By the way, the Luxago oscillator talks about bullish divergence as well. Our green reversal triangle, the RSI is low. That is what we would call weak divergence, where these bottoms are getting lower here in price action. But the RSI bottoms are staying exactly the same. So, yeah, not the strongest divergence here, but we're seeing some divergence here, technically speaking. Let's take a look at one of our super tools here and look at what we have. Discount zone below us, 73% strong. I want to make sure you guys understand, it doesn't mean we can't drop below it. If you go back and back test it, there's several times. But similar to like sometimes when you see reversal signals ignored, that just shows you the strength of a trend. Right now, we're seeing some confluence that the crypto market as a whole is pretty overextended to the downside. It's a little too oversold, and that doesn't escape Link. Link definitely looks like a project that has more room to the upside, but keep your eyes here around. We have some order blocks coming about 1456 where we will probably run into this nice yellow line. Equilibrium as well. Here's another thing I was telling you guys about. Bitcoin. We talked about this with Bitcoin. Bitcoin came down and then broke above the equilibrium and turned it into support. When it comes to Cardano and Link, though, it came down, set our new premium, and then rejected on the equilibrium. Link did the same thing right here. So I do want to see, to feel more confident, I do want to see a break above this equilibrium, and then let's start to talk about higher levels. Let's take a look at liquidations here, and we'll keep it on 7-day just because that'll give us a longer time frame. Let's see what the next week could look like. There are liquidations below us, but they're not the yellow ones. More heavy liquidations all the way up here. In fact, gets interesting up to $17 here for Chainlink. So keep your eyes there. We got Matt C coming in here saying, Tim, look at Say. And I've seen several people saying Say. So we'll do that one next. Let's see. What time do we have? We have 1 minute left. So this is going to be it, guys. Say is going to be it. I did see Filecoin, Rocky Top. I see you. We'll look at Filecoin next week. But I'm going to say this real quick. And we're running a little long here because I'm going to look at Say. Anytime you guys want me to look at projects, if you are in our members, especially our gold members, and you comment in, we have a whole trading group. If you said, Tim, what do you see on Filecoin? I will make you a video. Or I'll do the best I can. If we have 170 requests, I can't do that. But right now, I've been able to make videos for requests. If you want to join our membership and you have any question, any coin, I can make you a video showing you what I'm seeing on the market. Let's take a look at Say, though. Say has been really exciting. I don't know if I've actually done any TA on Say, to be honest with you. Let's take a look, kind of a macro view. I have, because there's a Fibonacci level up here. It's not going to help us. Did we set a new high? No, we have not quite set the new high after that launch. but we're close. We're very close here. But let's take this down and let's take a look at what we have going on here on the 4-hour chart. Kind of have a trend coming in here. Let's go ahead and do some drawing just to kind of see what we have going on. It's not the cleanest in the world, but it is what it is. Very steep little channel we have going on here for say. I'm going to do something where I'm going to do candle body closes because I do believe when I do candle body closes, we're going to see some more touches like that of the wick. So like to see that. We're going to go and leave this one. That's a symmetrical. That's a very parallel line right there. So we're in a little bit of channel. You are seeing us come back down to the support level. So that is a good sign just off of formation situation. But remember, rising channels, like a rising wedge, more often than not will break to the downside when we see the break in this structure. And the structure could look something as serious as this one right here. So if we ever see a break, we could see, let's say we broke and broke bearish, which again, I'm bullish right now, so I don't think it's going to happen. Let's say we broke over here. We could see the price drop back down to 50 cents. But I just wanted to show you guys that. Let's go back to the hourly chart where, again, this is going to give us kind of more looks into the rest of today, the weekend, of what price action could look like. Let's take a look at the oscillators here. Recently had a bullish reversal flash that did kind of get ignored. So that tells you the bears were still fully in control. But we have seen to respect as the oscillators are going to the upside. Oh, bullish divergence. I don't know why I didn't print on Luxalgo. But that, the bottom's going up, bottom's going down. RSI does not have that bullish divergence. MACD has crossed bullish, so even all that, that's still bullish. Green momentum. Our money flow, even though we were strong bearish right here below that trend line, we're starting to flow back up. The money's starting to flow back in as we get back to that 50 line. So I'm going to sit here and say the oscillators are cautiously bullish, not overwhelmingly bullish like what we saw with Bitcoin, Cardano, and Link, but cautiously bullish as we are approaching a support level. What I mean by that is we could see a drop. We could drop back down to new lows here on this little trend and come touch this yellow line. Let's take a look at what we see with Lux Algo. We are here on the hourly chart. Now, it's going back pretty darn far. I'll have to look into this, guys. I don't know how many candles it goes back because that does seem like a lot more. I think what it does is like in an hourly chart, it takes a trend. So this trend is kind of attributing to starting all the way back here in December, and we've just been setting those higher highs, higher lows. So it has a low. It has a low. This could change very quickly, though, and it's at 43%, super close to 50. This isn't a strong indication either. So even this one, I'm kind of looking here as a cautiously optimistic. What I do see is we're above the equilibrium, and we haven't made it back. We don't have to, but with the fact that we have a little room to the downside to get back to this formation support level, with the fact that the oscillators are showing some flashes of bullishness, but clearly could have a little bit more regression here, and the fact that our equilibrium is below us, I'm going to sit here and lean towards look out for a potential say movement back down below 70 cents, possibly somewhere down here towards 67, towards the equilibrium. That's what I'm looking at for say, but we'll have to check on that next week. Good pick there, Matt C. and the others that shows it. Guys, that's all we have for you today. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you go ahead and smash that like button. I'll actually say this. T-Shroom and I have not discussed this on our way out. T-Shroom, what are your thoughts about a Saturday stream tomorrow? Are you free? Are you busy? Are you doing anything?
Yeah, I'm good to go. Saturday stream, full send.
Guess what, guys? We are going to have a Saturday stream tomorrow, so we'll have to check in on Say tomorrow. See if the TA magic was correct there. Guys, on your way out, smash the like button, hit the subscribe button, get the Lux Algo, click on all the links, join the Discord, have some fun, have a good weekend. We'll see you either tomorrow or on Monday. Love ya. Adios.
Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots that bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros. Army pipe, lethal on trade. Entries and exits, worthy of praise. Tim, the professor, the TA. Shout it out loud on the PA. T-Shroom's news got the word. Doing better than what he deserves. Beamer, leave no evidence. Soon fly coop with his dividend. Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots that bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros.